If you guys have any specific questions about Google Analytics 4, go ahead and drop those in the comments wherever you are, and I will gladly answer those any way I can. So this is just a heads up, though. I am using a demo. Let's see. I am using a demo account here, and so I didn't have to set it up. I do have a very quick video on how to set up Google Analytics 4 using Google Tag Manager on my YouTube channel. So if you just want to go do that, it's a short, so it's literally less than 60 seconds. You can watch that. It shows you exactly how to set everything up. So it looks like Militia is going to be giving an analytics webinar to the chamber. And so hopefully this can help you out, Militia. So if you don't have the Google demo account already, you can get it. Just look up Google Analytics demo account. And it shows you on the very first page how to get that demo account. I do suggest it, especially when it comes to Google Analytics 4, because spoiler alert, when you create a Google Analytics 4 account, it does not bring over your previous data. It just starts collecting new data. And if you take your analytics pixel off your website to go to Google Analytics 4, you're going to only get that data into Google Analytics 4 and not into Google Analytics, which makes it hard for you to do any year-over-year analysis or really any analysis against previous data. So if you are going to use Google Analytics 4, I highly suggest keeping both pixels on your website, both Universal Analytics and Google Analytics 4. Or if you're just not sure about Google Analytics 4, definitely get the demo account, and it will show you everything that there is to see, which is what I'm doing right now. Dan the man, he was able to join over on Periscope. Everybody say hi to Dan. It's always great when we get to catch you live. I know you're usually working during the day, so it means a lot for you to pop in. All right, so this is Google Analytics 4. I could do let's see if we can do a little side-by-side here. How's everybody's week going? If you have had a big win, go ahead and drop those in the comments. We like to celebrate those here. All right, let's see if I go to the regular account. So this is what Google Analytics, just the regular Google Analytics looks like, if you remember. And this is what Google Analytics 4 looks like. So right away, this was kind of interesting to me. So you can't add any filters to this chart on the home page, but in Google Analytics 4, you can add filters, and they're up here now, which they've always been at the top, but there is usually like a menu bar across the top. So if I went into audience overview, the filters or segments, not filters, would be up here. So that's kind of interesting. And I think they changed some of the fonts and stuff. It just looks a little more futurist, I suppose. They also show real time on the homepage, which is something that I don't think that they were doing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they do. Okay, so real time right here. So this is the same. It's just not the blue color. And this is showing countries, while the other one was showing pages and page views. And then we get the insights. So Google Analytics has been working towards using AI to provide insights to users. So we can see that right away, the insights, conversions dropped yesterday, event count dropped yesterday, total users, views, etc. These look like the same thing. Engaged sessions for the campaign source Google dropped last week. So those are kind of interesting. We'll play with those in a little bit. Then we see user medium, source medium, which again was right here. This is traffic channel usually, but that's fine by me because if you guys have been here before, you know that source medium is one of my favorite views. sessions. So this is, they have a user view and then they have session view, country. Okay, so all that's the same. The biggest change we're going to see right away on Google Analytics 4 is this menu. This menu is insane. So looking at Google Analytics, we see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments right there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 segments on this new menu. And so me being, the person I am, oh, what's up? Awesome. We're so happy to have you here for a live stream. Everybody say what's up to Split. All right. So initially when I looked at this, I thought, oh, it's going to be a lot easier to find data because they've broken it up more. Well, maybe. It's kind of tough because we've been using Google Analytics for so long. For instance, I was looking at this engagement and thought, oh, I should be able to see page views and all that stuff here. And it took me forever to figure out that pages and screens was actually under events and not before events, which seems a little out of order. And we can see that they have they've created new charts to go here. And this has been so weird for me. So I won't lie to you. I did look at this briefly the other day while I was writing an article. So this view is super interesting. So you actually have to scroll over to see everything. Very strange. So on Google Analytics, if we went to behavior, site content, all pages, we would see this, right? And it's all right here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. On this, the new one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So user scrolls, they added, it looks like the number of unique users who scroll down at least 90% of the page. That's a new metric. So I don't think that there is anywhere in Google Analytics, regular, universal analytics, that we were able to track scrolls unless it was an event that we created ourselves to track. So that's interesting. We have average engagement, makes sense. Conversions, events, new users, views per user. And then we have the title and screen class. So we can change this to, let's see, let's do page path. And oh wait, yeah, so we changed it to page path. Okay, so that's just the URL and screen class. I'm not really sure what they mean by screen class, but okay. But this, they also don't have a place where they explicitly tell you, hey, you can use a secondary dimension. You kind of have to know that there's a secondary dimension and that you can add one. And that's what this blue check mark is right here, or plus sign is right here. So I like to look at, for instance, maybe we want to look at like compare it to source, no, acquisition. See, now it's not source. Okay, user source medium, yeah. And that will add the secondary dimension right here. And then we can see so homepage, direct, people scrolled 90% of the page. See, but they don't put like a percentage. So 13,000 out of 19,000. 5,000 out of 5,000. So it looks like the scrolls were actually a lot better from organic than they were from direct. Data deleted. So this is a new one. Have no idea what that means. That's different. I do like that on Google Analytics 4, as I'm like going through, it highlights for me, so I don't have to keep going back and forth. I'm sure that's why I'm sure that's why this is static, is so that you can always see as you're scrolling over. But yeah, I really like that it highlights, so I can quickly look across and up and know what I'm looking at for this. So yeah, but this is interesting because, so here, okay, so these are all the same across as this is down. And then your secondary dimension right here, I can always exit out. And now I'm just going to see the page path and screen. But then like, so under engagement, events is under engagement. But like, then there's events down here with conversion in events as well. Event count, total revenue, event count per user. What? This is saying, oh, page view, user engagement. Scroll. These look like created events. So these don't look like events that would just normally be here. So maybe these are events that we create. We'll have to see. This is kind of interesting, I guess. Let's see. So, yeah, these have to be ones we create because we'll see FID, which is first interactive display, I think, and then largest contentful paint. Those are your core web vitals. So that's engagement. Under acquisition, and all of that stuff is under behavior on Universal Analytics. So then we have acquisition. I should have started there, but so we have user acquisition and then traffic acquisition. Interesting way to break that up. So users coming from here. And we get all of their engagement stats. I think these are, yeah, these are, well, no, they're not. Oh, and then see, this is how you filter the events. See, this is so weird. Because what's interesting is they have like 404 as an event, and you could look and be like, oh, we got so many events. And 598 of them were 404s. That's not good. I guess that's what they would be looking at the conversions for. Engaged sessions per user. So these are some interesting, do not like it. So Melicia's saying that she doesn't like it. There's definitely a learning curve. I know a lot of people have said that it's really clunky and they don't really like it. But I also know that if you create a new website, like if you were to create a website today, or you were to set up analytics for the first time for a client today, you have to use Google Analytics 4. They don't give you any other option. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like we have to learn it because they're going to force it on us eventually. But I still think that there's a lot of work to be done. So I wouldn't give up all hope on it. But yeah, I think it's going to be a while until it's where we want it. So this is interesting. So engaged sessions per user. So then if we changed it to traffic acquisition, I wonder what we're going to see. Traffic acquisition. So these are sessions versus users. But then they have users and sessions right here. So why this needed to be in two separate places, I guess I'll have to think on that one a bit more. Like I said, this is the first time I've actually gone through Google Analytics 4, so I'm just as surprised by all this as you are. Alexis, thanks for popping back in. Let's see what the overview looks like. Engagement overview. Oh, looks like we have a loading error. Okay. Average engagement, event count by event name. Excuse me. Why are these underlined? I can't change them. User stickiness. And then they use all these acronyms and don't explain them. Okay. All right, let's look at monetization. So this is for e-commerce. Revenue, ad revenue. That's interesting. That's cool. Total purchases, first-time purchasers. That's cool. E-commerce by list. Okay, this is pretty normal. Add to carts. Views. So this is views, and this is add to carts. Wonder why they put them on a. I guess so you can see the outliers, right? So like this had a ton of views, but a lot less add to carts. So why is that? Same with this. People just aren't into the YouTube icon, like gray YouTube icon shirts, I guess. Maybe people just aren't into gray because the poor laptop sleeves, gray and charcoal, those as well are under. Okay, so that's cool. I'll give that to them. That's cool. I like that little chart for e-commerce. Now we have item names, add to cart, cart to view rate. See, I'm wondering if these are things that they're already going to be tracking, like Smart, or if you still have to set it up. In-app purchases. Oh, that's right. So they got rid of views. So you see that there's not views here. So everything's just in one place. Publisher ads. So then you can see what ads ran. This demo site doesn't run ads. So there's that. So monetization, kind of cool. And now it makes sense why they called it monetization, not like e-commerce or shopping or whatever. I don't know. Retention. So let's see. This is new. Okay, let's see. As someone new to Google Analytics world, what's the learning curve like? Honestly, if you're new, I would tell you to start with Google Analytics 4 because you're going to be ahead of all of us that have been fumbling around in Universal. The learning curve, really, I mean, it depends on how comfortable you are with numbers. To be honest, I still find new views all the time in Google Analytics. But I think like finding the things that are important and learning where those paths are, I would say probably like it took me probably like 3 to 6 months to find all of the things that I still look back on today. Like I still look at the same views today. So I hope that helps. Yeah. So Militia says, us old dogs have to learn all the new tricks. Change is hard, y'all. That is true. Yeah. Fumbling around in here is kind of tough. Okay. So now we have overview. Oh, wait, no. So we have retention by cohort, engagement by cohort. Okay. So this was a new thing that they introduced a couple of years ago, where these cohorts, so like people that come in on the 12th of February, how engaged are they over their lifetime, right? And then we can start tracking things like lifetime value, which is extremely important, especially for e-commerce and SaaS brands, anyone that's selling like a product. That lifetime value is extremely important. So that's cool. This view is lacking, in my opinion. You can't do anything with this. I don't know. I mean, there's not a lot you can do. Like, what if I didn't want to see this? What if I wanted to see? Oh, well, you can't because you don't have that much data. Oh, we can edit comparisons up here. All users. Okay. Attribution. Okay, this is cool. Attribution. So that's cross-channel last click. About last engagement, maybe. Oh, shit. I don't know. This is weird. All right, we'll just keep that. We'll keep that. What's this, though? Insights. All right, share this report. Cool, whatever. Okay, so that's retention lacking. Next, demographics. Overview and demographic details. See, this just doesn't. All right. We have no user or interest data or age, just language. Excuse me. You can change it to new users, returning users. Interesting. Then you have your real-time countries. It looks like it's a lot easier for it to pull that country information than it is anything else. So if I changed this to gender, yeah, it's not pulling that data as well because it doesn't have as many data points, and that's why it's not telling us anything. Okay, so demographics, we don't know yet. It's going to give us information like average engagement time, sessions per user, event count, total revenue, the norm. I will say what I don't like is that I can't change these charts. To be fair, I just learned like maybe a year ago after working in analytics for I don't know how long that you can change these. So the charts in the old version. But alas, here we are. It's fine. All right, tech. This is going to be a big deal this year with Core Web Vitals. All right, let's see. New question. I appreciate you answering questions. Hope you don't mind. Google is the most popular for businesses, but how does it compare to competitors? So Google Analytics is most popular for website analytics. And that's because it's free and because you can get in, because of the fact that it's free, you can get a lot of training. You'll see a lot of videos like this on the internet. But in comparison, and you have to think like Google touches 90% of internet users. So it's collecting a lot more data than like LinkedIn is only tracking LinkedIn users. Facebook is only tracking Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So those analytics are pretty robust as well. And also it gives you an understanding of how they're interacting with your content, right? On your website. So once they come in from wherever, how do they interact with your business? Whereas on LinkedIn or like a Facebook or any other social media thing, you're only getting with like, how are they interacting with you on the platform? And then you get very little information about how they interact with your website once they're there. I hope that makes sense. Militia says, Orbi is an alternative, but it's paid, which, yeah, there are paid analytics tools out there, website analytics tools. But again, because Google Analytics is free, there's the most resources for it. So that's generally where I tell people to get started. All right, so tech. So users by operating system, platform device, screen resolution, app stability, device model. Okay. Pretty normal. Tech details, let's see. So this is by browser. And the same information here. Surprised that they're not pulling Lighthouse data in here yet. It's not to say that it's not coming, but I don't see it here, which is interesting. I would have expected that. So just same information, just by device. So next we have events, and these are conversions. So these have been set up by the person. Oh, weird. Network settings. Okay, what the heck? So this is settings. This is some sort of settings stuff. Yeah. You can see the count and the change. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. And where in the world is the multi-channel conversions on here? In-app purchases, publisher ads. No. So like this is a view that I love. A lot of people don't use it, but it's really, in my opinion, it's really important. You can see how many conversions this assisted with. So like right away, you know, you look at paid search and you're like, oh, we spent all this money and we only had 113 conversions. And it's like, well, actually, it also contributed to 90 more conversions. So technically we had over 200 conversions. And then you can see like top conversion paths. So how many interactions on average are people taking with us before they convert, and if so, what are those paths? And it's like a lot of people go directly to the website a few times, and then some people are going to paid search, and then you know what I mean, like that's really important. And I'm not seeing it here, not to say that it's not here, just to say that I don't know where the heck it is. Okay, anyways, so this must be like settings / look at stats for this. You can't really see it if I went into goals. No, it would have been events. Yeah, so like you get the count of past 7-day conversions, but we don't get that users and whatever. Goals and then events, that what we would have had to see that. Okay, so this is interesting. You can turn them on and off here as far as marking them as a conversion. Now, if we go to analysis, this is where, oh, I haven't been here and this looks interesting. Path analysis, funnel analysis, exploration, segment overlap, cohort analysis, user lifetime. Okay, let's do segment overlap. I'm just interested. Whoa. It is like Data Studio and Analytics had a baby. Wowzers. Okay, so mobile traffic, tablet traffic. Okay, so this is by, these are the segment comparisons. How weird. Okay, so what if I changed it? Okay, so select, oh, these are my only options. Technique. Segment overlap. Okay, well, maybe I can pick them from over here. Metrics. Oh, wait, no, not metrics. No, not metrics. Dimensions. No, oh, it's the segments. Where it says segments. Acquisition. Okay. Acquisition. No, I don't want a campaign. I want a. I don't know. Oh, okay. Direct, and then let's do referral, and let's do. What the heck? Organic just left, or. Organic? What the heck? As we did direct, referral. Let's do partners. So this is telling us how many? 0. I don't know. Let's just do save and apply. Oh, no. Okay. Clearly I have some work to do. Okay, so I'm not going to play with this any longer because we would be here forever. Once I'll do a whole thing just on this maybe next week. But as of right now, I don't know how the nuts to use that. Here we can configure audiences. Interesting. Configure audiences. Don't know what that is. And then user properties. Also not sure what this is. Don't know. Debug view. I'm sure this is to debug, devices and things like that. I think this will be really, really useful for developers. I don't know what hardly any of this means, so I can't tell you right this second. Yeah, again, this might be another one that I have to look at. So it looks like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 things are like where you're going to find the data that we're used to seeing in Google Analytics, Universal Analytics, that is. And then everything under here is kind of like a new setup or just new stuff in Google Analytics 4. Y'all, this has been kind of a mess. If you have any specific questions, go ahead and drop them down. If you don't, I'll give you some of my thoughts. Google Analytics 4 has a lot of potential, but I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I would not suggest moving over to Google Analytics solely if you have a property that you've been collecting data on for a long time, because it will not allow you to do the retrospective analysis. So you can't like compare year over year. You can't compare, quarter over quarter, what have you, because you don't have access to any of that data. If you do want to start using Google Analytics 4, there is a demo account for it. And if you want to use it for your business, to start playing around with it, to start getting some of those insights, what have you, you can run the Google Analytics 4 tag and the Universal Analytics tag on your website at the same time and start collecting that data in both places. I have not heard a lot of information from Google about how the transition is going to go. At some point, I would imagine that they're going to bring over the data that we already have into Google Analytics 4, but I've not seen anything on that. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Before I go any further, I do just want to remind you guys that I do one-on-one coaching. I do help with analytics setup. And if you're interested in any of that, you can go to, I'll put it in the comments. It's beastanalytics.co.com, or if you just want to show support, you can always go to my Buy Me a Coffee, and my name on there is just Bree E. Anderson as well. So I would really appreciate any of that. And then, so as I was saying with Google Analytics 4, there's going to be a lot of insights that we can get from Google Analytics 4 that we didn't get from Universal Analytics. It's just a matter of figuring out how to get to those. I don't know. I think it will be good eventually. I think just right now it's tough. I mean, and the learning curve is going to be tough for those of us that have used Universal Analytics for a long time. But we do know for a fact that Google will be forcing us onto Analytics 4, because if you create a site today, or if you start collecting data today, you have to create a Google Analytics 4 account. So, well, it looks like no other questions came in. I do want to thank you all for sticking around this long. If you have, it really means a lot to me. I will be back next Friday at 12:30 Central to do something like this all over again. If you have any topics or any specific platforms you want to see me cover, go ahead and leave those in the comments. And other than that, you guys have a great weekend. Stay warm here in the Midwest. It is ridiculously cold. And if you're not having to worry about the cold, good for you. All right, guys, I'll see you next week. Don't forget,